Well, welcome to another episode of Spotlight on the Collection. This episode, unlike prior episodes, we are going to focus on our McLeod County Historical Society Research Center and all the wonderful resources that we have there. Where in the past we have focused on one or two items from the collection, this time we're going to be looking at all of the collection that is housed in our searchable database and also that's available online. And we're really trying to get the word out there to let people know that these things are available for you and to all of our members for absolutely free. The first thing that we're going to be focusing on is our website, which of course anybody can go on, and that is at www.mcleodhistory.org. So taking a look at the website, we have it up here. Just to give you a little overview, I'm going to scroll down. One of the things that's really nice is every year we have a historical theme, and we focused in on fighting fire, history of the McLeod County Volunteer Fire Departments this year. So on our website we feature pictures, a little slideshow of the different fire halls, some of the tragic fires that have happened in McLeod County, and of course some of the firefighters. And we'll be highlighting that all this year in 2016. And there's a nifty little button below called Share Your Memories. And the Share Your Memories is a wonderful way for hopefully all of you to contribute your stories. Maybe you were a volunteer firefighter. Maybe you currently are a volunteer firefighter. Or maybe you have had a fire that has impacted your life here in McLeod County. We would love if you could share your story and your memories. It just takes a little bit to fill out: name, address, phone number, basic contact information, and then click in the box to share your memories and just type away. Once you hit the submit button, that'll head over to us, and we'll take a look at it and approve it, and voila! You are a part of the McLeod County Historical Society's collection of personal stories, which we will preserve forever and ever and ever. So please help us out. It's those personal stories that really make a lot. Okay. Back to the research. Now, a lot of different people come to the McLeod County Historical Museum to use our research center for doing family history research and genealogy. But there are a lot of other reasons for you to come and possibly use our research center. We have records and albums and collections from McLeod County churches, organizations, businesses, and loads of photos from all 9 communities in McLeod County, and history about all the different businesses and residential homes that were built throughout pretty much the whole existence of McLeod County. So any of those topics, you know, a lot of churches come to the museum to look at records when they're celebrating an anniversary, organizations that are celebrating some sort of milestone. So really, we save everything, and it'll be here for you to be able to use. And of course, if you're a member, you can use it for free. We'll take a look here on our website. Of course, without even coming to the museum, we have a lot of information. We have a lot of services that we provide. So even if you can't make it into the museum, we have a service fee rate, hourly rates for doing lookups for you to use the research library itself. Otherwise, staff lookups and rates for copies and things like that. So when you're taking a look at doing, let's say, some sort of research at the museum, you can give us a call and set up an appointment to use the library. We have about 3 different computers that are open to the public that can be used. And those computers sometimes can fill up on certain days very quickly. So you'll want to call ahead and let us know that you're coming. So back to what you can find online, though, without even coming to the museum. Down here you can see all of the different things that are available. We have atlases that start back in 1874. So maybe you want to know where your family farm, you know, what it looked like or who owned that land prior to your family coming to McLeod County. So the atlases are really great to take a look at that and research the land. The other thing is we have census records as well. Some of those are on microfiche, birth and death records that you can look at, and different indexes of family history books. So, you know, I always dream I'll walk into a library and there will be that family history book and I won't have to lift a finger except for to say, make a copy, and all the research is done. But that's okay. If it's not, we can help you get started or wherever you're at in your research project. We have a lot of directories, which a lot of people don't always think of. Directories that go way back, showing businesses and people, even before there were telephones in the county or in the communities, they still have addresses, so you can pinpoint right exactly where your relative's business or home was during that time period. And of course, cemetery records as well. Our microfilm collection is pretty much county-wide, and all of the microfilm newspapers are available for access on 3 different readers here at the Historical Society in our research library, and we're really, really excited. We got a brand new ST scanner. It's digital, makes wonderful copies, and is super, super fast. And the great thing about it is you can also cross-reference and go online and use it to search Ancestry.com. So that's a new thing that has been brought to the Historical Society. We are lucky enough, we were the recipients of a grant to have Ancestry Library Edition for the next 3 years, and that is totally free to all of our members to come and use. Normally a subscription to Ancestry Library Edition can cost anywhere from $45 up to $100 and some to go worldwide to search in their collection. But here at the Historical Society, for $25 a year, you can come and use it for absolutely free, as much as you want during our open hours. And the wonderful thing here is, even if you're new to Ancestry, we have a couple of people on site, Marlis Frederick, who is our in-house researcher, and Bob Allison, who is a volunteer researcher. Both are experts in Ancestry, and if you call and book an appointment with them, they can really help you get going on using Ancestry to your advantage. Okay, so one of the really cool things about our online website is we have currently added a searchable database, and we'll go and take a look at that. So right down halfway in the middle of the page is a big blue button, and it says Browse Our Collection, so we're just going to click on that. And this is something that the Historical Society and all of its wonderful, wonderful volunteers have been working on for the past 9 years, and that is scanning and documenting, photographing, and adding all of our collection into a searchable database. Now, if you come to the museum and use our research library, you have access to over 60,000 objects, photos, and documents that are on the searchable database. Online, due to costs, we only have about 10,000 items. But to get your search started and to give you just an idea of what we have here in our collections, you can go online and search the archives, photos, and objects right here. Now there's images with this as well, and I'll just show you a little example. So if you are looking for the Hutchinson family, we're going to do a little search and just see what pops up. Wow, 2,401 results. So we have a few pictures that have Hutchinson in the description. So some wonderful photos you can see here, but if you want a closer look, you can click on the image and pull it up. So you see this wonderful large image. So and this actually is a relative, it looks like, of the Hutchinsons. And down here you can see all of the historical information. Now, one thing I want to point out that is really important, so when you're using this resource at home or here at the museum, is this catalog number. They call the catalog number here. What we call it at the museum is an accession number. And this is how we keep track of all of our items, all 60,000 of them. So this little number here, let's say you want to see this picture maybe when you come in, or maybe you'd like to print a copy of this because this is great Aunt Judy and you never have had a picture of her and you really want that. You just write this number down, and that is going to be your reference to let us know whether you want a copy of that picture or you want to come and actually see the real thing here at the Historical Society. So let's go back and we can take a look at some other photos. So this is what's called an Ambry O-Type, and this is kind of like a tintype. Now this is a Pendergast photo, which is also family connection with the Hutchinsons. So this particular picture here is something that we could also reproduce, but probably not make photocopies of. And so knowing that little accession number or catalog number is going to help. Also too, these connections down here, the description, it's going to help you figure out, what that connection is, when the picture was taken, and hopefully if we know who it's of. Sometimes though, we make mistakes, and this is another thing that if you do see an error, maybe you have that photo or maybe you know who the other people in that photo are and we don't have them identified, give us an email, give us a call, let us know. That's the best way for us to be able to update this database, and we can do that. So that's one of the wonderful things that where we can learn more, we can add to our collection. Maybe you have more photos that should be donated or documents and objects. Again, give us a call, let us know. We can check our system, and we're always looking for donations of items to help enrich and grow our resource here at the Historical Society for everyone to use. So that's just one example online. Now if you come into the Historical Society, you have access, like I said, online it's just 10,000, here 60,000. So the breadth and depth is much larger, and so we always like you to come and visit us and take a look at what we have. Let's see here. I'm going to close this out and go into, this is what you will actually see when you come and sit down at a computer at our research library. And you can just let us know in advance. It's great to call ahead. Take your chances when you stop in if there's one open computer available. And if you would like some help, like I said, we do have those people here on staff, wonderful volunteers who are experts at this and can really help you out. So a lot of different options here available on this screen. Number one, maybe let's say a family member or yourself has donated an object to the Historical Society. You can search by individual objects. So that's one way that you can search. The other ways are by photos, archives, and archives, that basically is just our paper products, documents, photos, albums, books, that sort of thing, and the library. Library is the stuff that's actually on the shelf in our library for people to use. If it's an original, it's probably in the archive, if it's something older. If it's something newer or a copy of something, then it's probably in our library collection. And that's something you can actually come in and take off the shelf. One of the best ways to search, in my opinion, is either by a keyword search or by a people search. And you can actually, if you have a specific name that you're researching or a specific person, that's probably the fastest and easiest way for you to take a look. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways that once you put in your keyword search term that you can look. As I mentioned before, up here you can specify whether you want an object, a photo, archive, or library. We decided to put in dress, so we're looking for maybe a photo of a dress or an object. You can be more specific in your search term. I'm a little less specific in this one just so I can show you all the different options. After you hit the search button, you will get this lovely long list of everything that has that in its in the search term description or possibly in the subject. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can look at each of these different records. You can just take a look at the description, the search term, or the subject matter. But I'm kind of a visual person. I like to see the record itself. So you can pull up each and every individual record that's listed there. So this first one that popped up, it's a little girl. You can see there's a thumbnail over on the right-hand side. There's a description area. You can also see that it's a photo and that it's an original that we have in our collection. Sometimes people give us copies of originals, so that would be denoted there. And the actual print size. There's also a panel over here of buttons that you can take a look at. So right now we are on the photo button, but let's say you want to know the condition of this piece. Sometimes if something is in really bad condition, we don't always allow access to it, but we can get copies for you. So you can take a look at that and maybe know if it has any restrictions on it. People, so what are the referenced people in this particular photograph? Yes, she's wearing a dress, but who is the person and how is it referenced? And that's a good way of finding it in the collection or maybe connecting to other objects and other photos in the collection within those same categories or topics. The source, that tells you who donated. Unfortunately, this particular one, we don't have a donor, and that happens sometimes. Most of the pieces in our collection, like I said, come from individuals who have donated in their family personal collections that are from McLeod County, but every once in a while, someone will bring in something that maybe is written on the back, or they don't know exactly where it came from, that it was just found somewhere. Also, too, people like to just leave stuff or mail stuff to us with no return address, but that doesn't mean it isn't an asset and it's added to the collection. All right, so my favorite part of this, and which is really great when you come into the Historical Society and you have a seat in front of the computer, is that you can take a look, close-up look at each and every single one of these images. This is another way that you can also scroll through. Remember that long list that we had before? You can just click next and that will take you to the very next picture, an image that you can look at within that search word term. So we'll scroll through a few of these different images. A lot of ladies wearing dresses. But you can see also too how if you picked a particular family name, all of the family photos that you could possibly find. All right, we're going to head out of here. We'll go back to that lovely long list. Now over here in the object name, you can see that a lot of those are photographs that we have found. But let's just scroll down and we'll see if we can find any actual objects. Here is a lovely wedding dress. So this is the actual piece. Again, I cannot give kudos enough to our wonderful volunteers who have actually taken these photos of each and every single piece. Now, a lot of these, I talked about condition, especially wedding dresses, veils and things that are very old. They have a lot of condition issues. It's not always advantageous to handle them because they could be very brittle and fall apart. But you know what? You still might want to see great-grandma's wedding dress. And so this is a perfect opportunity for you to be able to get a look. That's the back side, close-up, details. The headpiece. So there's over 8 photos of just this one wedding dress. So this is just a wonderful, wonderful tool for you to be able to get a closer look at our collection and really how it's made, put together, and multiple pictures you'll find in a lot of our objects because we can literally put as many photos to each record as we would like, and we can take it from every single angle. Another great thing about this, as a side note, you know, this is another way for us to preserve the collection. God forbid that we would have some sort of tragedy, a fire, or some kind of natural disaster. At least we would have these images even if the piece was no longer around. Here's a neat uniform. So not only do you get a picture of the uniform, but you can scroll or pop back to this description category, and you can go up to print. Under the print record, the history, because let's say this is one of your relatives' uniforms. You can go ahead and print that document so that you can take that information, and that thumbnail picture will be there with it as well. And this is nice. A lot of times people, when they're doing research, they will print that sheet, that thumbnail sheet, so that they have that important accession number. So you don't slow yourself down when you're doing your research to pull each item or to know for sure and do more research on it. You got that for, you know, your 10-cent copy that you can take home with you, cross-reference with your records, and then come back and say, yeah, you know, that is definitely a connection for me, and I want a copy of that photo, or I would like to get some more information or have a nicer printout of that. Okay, so another way that you can take a look at these is view image. And this actually gives you a whole spread of every single photo. Now, this is something that I, as a museum director, use a lot, because when we are pulling items for display, I love this mode because I can put in a keyword search for, let's say, knives or irons or firefighting equipment, and I can take a look at all the pieces that we have in our collection and have them literally at my fingertips to know, you know, which pieces are going to work well in the display space that I have to work with. But for visitors coming to use the research library, this is also a really great way to quickly move through a massive amount, let's say 60,000 items, and see which ones relate to you, and has that all-important accession number right below so that you can jot that down or print it off and look it up later. And you can scroll page after page. Now, I talk about making reprints. This is something that is available. You can do it through our website. We actually have, as long as you have that accession number of the piece that you actually are interested in and would like, you enter that number in and you pick the size. We have all standard sizes, 4x6, 5x7, 8x10. If you want a larger one, you can just give us an email and let us know, and we kind of quote you a price from there. But a 4x6 is just $12 to have it reproduced. And the other great thing is, because we've scanned all of these images in, they are in a really high resolution. Some of them you literally could make a wall mural out of them. And one of the reasons we did that is because, like we said, if for some reason something would happen at the museum, we'd have a fire or these records would be destroyed, we have this backup scan copy that's housed off-site that we could literally overnight reproduce our whole collection and do it in a very high quality. But for the benefit of our guests and the public, let's say you want to have a reproduction of the picture. Maybe you want it digitally. For a $50 charge, we can download it for you, and you can reproduce and use that photo as many times or as much as you want. We give you documentation saying that you have the rights to use that photo. So this is something that a lot of people are choosing to do now in the digital age of everything. They can keep it in their records as well and have it backed up. So something to consider. All right. So I think that covers most of the different ways that you can view the records online. Now, this is actually that printout that I was talking about that you can print here at the Historical Society and take with you. And this gives you, this particular one, because it is military, which we have a huge collection of military, which I did not mention in our little tutorial about what's available in the research library. All this information there in the description relates to the man who wore this uniform and what we have available. So you really get a huge amount of information for your 10-cent copy here at the Historical Society. And that all-important accession number, of course, is right at the top. Now, a lot of people, you know, also ask about actually seeing these pieces. They want to see the uniform, they want to see the dress, they want to see the object. And of course, with having 80,000 plus items, it takes a little while. So it's great if you want to just pop in, we can always put you on here, and if fortunately our volunteers have gotten to it and the piece is there, you know, you can look at least the photos of it. But if you want to actually see the item, we do ask that you give us a few days to actually pull it and get it ready. And so give us a call, send us an email, and we can set that up. So in our History Research Center here, oh yes, there's Marlis. And she is a wonderful resource here at the Historical Society, our research librarian. And you can contact her. If you have a question, you just hit the contact us, and that will go directly to Marlis, and she'll be able to help answer any questions that you might have about your particular research project. But research center fees, again, just to cover, if you don't want to become a member, you still can use the research library. It's just $15 per hour, and you have full access to Ancestry Library Edition, which covers worldwide. If you need help with it, we can get you some help. Like I said, we have a couple of different people who are on staff here who are experts in Ancestry and can get you going. Otherwise, if you're used to using it, that's great. One little caveat to note, let's say you're an Ancestry user already. Maybe you just have the US mode because it's a little cheaper at home, but you want to come here to access the worldwide records. That's great, except for do note that you will not be able to access your genealogy profile online. But you can actually, you know, take that information and download it, and then you can take it home with you. Otherwise, you're welcome. We have free Wi-Fi here at the museum. Bring your laptop. You can upload the information as you're searching. Gotta love some dueling computer action going. But it works really well, and is just another great resource here at the Historical Society. Well, that covers most of what we have at the Research Library. Of course, I know I probably forgot half a dozen things that are here in the collection because we have so many things available to our users here at the museum. And the great thing about coming to use our Research Library is when you need to stretch your legs, you have a wonderful gallery space you can take a tour of. So we hope to see you at the Historical Society to use our Research Center. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free. Go to our website, browse the online collection, get a taste for what we have. Stop by the museum. We're right across from Burger King, School Road and Highway 7. Otherwise, give us a call, 320-587-2109, or send us an email via the website at info@mcleodhistory.org, and we will get you searching. So, hope to see you soon. Thanks so much.